good to go now. So I wish a very, very good afternoon to everyone here. And I extend our hearty welcome to the Surjit Nongmeikapam. Surjit has happily agreed to give a talk on our fortnightly seminar series, and we are very thankful for that. I think some of our teachers are still trying to join in, Surjit. I hope you don't mind if they join in a little late. So since we have very less time, I would like the floor to be open to Mr. Arjun. Arjun will quickly give us an introduction of Surjit, and then the stage will be passed on to Surjit for today's very interesting topic, movement matters. Thank you, Surjit, and again, welcome you to Lyzon Friendship School's seminar series. Now I request Arjun to please take over and introduce our speaker to everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, Diana, thank you for giving the time. Surjit Nongmeikapam, born is an Imphal-based choreographer and moved with a string of accolades to his name. He is the founder and artistic director of Nachom Arts Foundation, NAF. He received degree in choreography from the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, Bangalore, under the guidance of the legendary Guru.Dr.Maya Rao, is also known as Didi. He has worked with several eminent artists in both national and international platforms. He is trained in traditional Indian dance and martial arts forms before developing an interest in interdisciplinary arts and experimental works. Surjit has been working as a choreographer, interdisciplinary performer, facilitator, dance movement therapist. He has traveled across India to conduct workshops and classes as well as on international projects. His choreographies, Nerves and Folktale won PEGDA Award in 2014 and 2016 respectively. For being the best choreographer, he has also worked in dance films that include Realms by Aka Sarikibam, Blackpot and Moment and Movement by Chauvat Chiam, Underlined by Frederick Lombard, and Lyden Machek by Premananda Nongtongbam. Recently, his film Samnaba March got the Best Cinematography Award at the Himalayan Film in the Festival 2021 Leh. He has also participated in several festivals that includes Theatre Olympics by NSD 2018 New Delhi, ITFOK 2018 Kerala, Dance Umbrella London 2015, Implustan Venia 2015, Dance in August Berlin 2015, Kyoto Experiment 2016, Settlers Well London 2016, Ignite Festival of Contemporary Dance Delhi, the Atak Kalari India, Venial Bengaluru, and other in France, Belgium, Singapore, Spain, and many more. Surjit Nongmeikapam has been touring around the world since 2013. He is one of the few dancers and choreographers in Manipur to engage with contemporary dance form and seek to promote Manipur culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arjun, for the introduction. Before we carry on and move forward with our speaker, I would love to request all the participants here to be on mute when the speaker is talking. And also, if we have any of us have any questions, I request all of you to put down in the chat box. And also, in other case, we can ask direct questions towards the end of the session. So I hope that Surjit, about 15 of us are here, and we can start. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Dina, and thank you, Arjun, for introducing me nicely. It was quite a long bio. Sorry for that. And also, I would like to show my gratitude to the Lyzon Friendship School, Singngat. Yes, I will personally love to visit physically, but I hope this is just the beginning, and that is what I'm hoping for. And thank you everyone for joining me here and joining us. And then yes, I'm not from the academic background. I'm from a professional artist. As you already heard from Arjun, that I'm more into choreography and a dancer and a performer. So today I'm going to share about movement matters. What is the importance of movement? Because why? Maybe people might be thinking, why is not dance? And for me, dance is kind of a categorized or is kind of a technique which already involved. And that is why I want to say movement. When you say movement, movement is we move every day, day-to-day life. And then it's also life, our universe, the universe is moved. There is nothing is still. We think there is a stillness, but the stillness is also moving. They are moving inside, the aura, the senses, the frequency, the vibrations, they are all moving. So without movements, we will not exist in this world. So that is why we say to my topic also, movement matters. And I think I will not explain about so much about myself because Arjun already explained so much about me. So I think that is already enough. So my background, just a brief, I'm the artistic director of Nachom Art Foundation. Nachom Art Foundation is based in Imphal. And then Nachom Art of Imphal is the NGO trustee. And we are actually trying to involve as much we can with the many communities and what do you call ethnic groups in Manipur to come all together and create something creativity, and also not only the creativity but also talk about our social issues. That is also we involve, and we also trying to connect within more youth artists, not only artists but also the students, so from an NGO, so we can come together and then and think about for better society in Manipur. Yeah. So today I will come to the topic by topic. I'm not going to show any PowerPoint. I'm also not very good in this thing. So I would like to keep it very simple. And then, as I said before, I really want to come and visit you all and do physically. Yes, as a movement, I believe in the physical, connection is more powerful than virtual. But yes. Yeah, so Dinah has sent some questions, some point to point note, and she mentioned about the importance of the body movements. What is the importance of body movements? So I will say, if we don't move, we are paralyzed. And then, if we don't move, we will die, because the organism of our body is all moving. The heart is functioning. Our kidney, our stomach, our lungs are moving, and that is why without movement we cannot survive. And that is already starting that how important the movement are. And also, if we come up to little simplified, like movement, there is a 1,000 of benefits of movement in our life. You can even check on Google and YouTube, nowadays you can find everywhere. But there's so much you can identify or find out the benefit of movement. But today I will share you some of the very small, some selected, topic, so that we can also keep it shorter on my talk. Uh, when we are inside the womb, we already start moving, because we 8 months will be inside our mother wombs, and we already start moving, from inside our wombs. And when we come out from the wombs, we the im- we the child already try to start moving, and the movement is very important to also build up the joints, and the muscles. And that is how we already we already know the importance of movement. The If we don't move our muscles, our joint when we was young, the kids or the children will be not in the healthy positions. And that is why nowadays, there is a physiotherapy, there is a physical therapies they are involving. Before, there was only doctor only for the for the hospital, but now there is for the physical and the physiotherapies and all. So there is already kind of a doctor that look after the children to check out their physical body. The kids, are their joints, are their muscles, are their organs, are their bodies are good. And also, not only for that, but also it helped, for the kids, it helped to build up faster. If you move, the kids is moving, then the body and then joints are going to grow up faster than others kids. That is why now you could see the changes, the new generation and the old generation kids. Most of the old generation kids are very healthy and hygienic, because we were very involved in physical movements. And nowadays, most of the children are into mobiles, and also with the so-called games and all, and they don't go out anymore into the physical games. I'm sure in the remote area they are still doing it, but in Imphal, even in Imphal, it's not still developing. It's still on developing, but we could already see so many kids are into mobiles now. So what happened then? Because of they are not into the physical movement, their physicals, their mentals, their and the growth of the hygienic and the immune system are becoming lesser and lesser. The senses of our human also decreasing day by days. You might already when my old generations, my great grandfathers, when they were, you know they could sense the rains, they could read the weather, they can study the soil, they can study the moons, what is coming next. So they have these senses on their body. But now we lost everything because of this technology. Now we trying to go, oh, we want to check on weather, then we will go to the Googles and check for the weathers. So it means we are disconnecting from our senses, from our body and nature. So we born as a connection, as I said before. Our life is connection with the frequency and then the vibrations with all the universe. And that is why, I don't know whether you believe or not, that is why our ancestor always pray with the moons and with the trees, with the stone, because it may say the science and technology will say it's just our imagination, but we also not need to forget that how much connection with our nature. I will give you a very simple example. Most of the oceans life, they bird only on full moon night. And as you can see, if you can check on Google's, most of the babies, when they are lying at eggs, or fish or feeding, it will be only on full moon days. How they will know the fish who is inside inside the water? How they will know that is a full moon? How they will calculate the days and all? It's quite crazy, right? So it means there is so much connection with our planet and with us, our body. So that is why I'm saying all this is because we are so disconnected from our bodies nowadays. And we always see the materials, we always see the object, we try, we let's say the mobiles and technology and the games, we already disconnected from all this, our nature movements, which are connected with the nature. When I was childhood, I'm sure there must be some friends are still connected with the nature. When I was childhood, I used to play every day on the ground, on the mud, and also running around, climbing up the trees, and also plucking the fruit and eating the fresh fruit. Nowadays, there is no fresh fruit in Imphal. There, we cannot climb up the mango trees. We cannot climb up the guava trees because there is not so much. Because of this, we call so-called development. But this is happening nowadays. So when we talk about the body, we must not forget only our physicals, only our, just not only inside, the spiritual, when people say about spirituality, is not only the idea, it's all about the body, physical body, once you connect it with your physical body, you can sense the energy from others, materials like stone, water, fire, air, rain. They are all connected. You can sense it if you are very aware of our body movement. And that is why also when we are when we are training in this body movement, we always try to connect it with the nature. We always try to think about our ancestor practice, like how they practice, with the nature. When you got this idea, so it's really helped us to grow more and healthier. This is not only also physical, because the spirituality is also why I said spirituality is not just only idea, it's our body. When it's a body, it's also mental health, So we always forget that mental health is involving in our body movement, and I am sure that we all know that what is body language. We try to read body language, how he is, how she is. So there is an expert. There is also an expert for that, how to see body language. And why I'm coming this is because when the kids or the person is not healthy or mentally distorted, the physical body will be not same as with others. And that is why also all our physical body are different from Dinah, from Arjun, from whoever is joining here. They have a different way of body movement because the idea, the brain are working, So is the brain, is the idea are connecting with our body, and that is how it connect with our body. So it's not only from our brain, we believe as a mover, we believe that all our body part are brain, So it's not only this, because we can sense the touch, we can even, it's a simple example that when we are writing, when we are writing without any thinking, the body memory, we call the body memory. So it would start writing. If I want to write apple, I will not even think about spelling. It will just write with my hands. It's just because it's connected. So it's become a brain. My hands become brains. My right hand and left hand is different because my right hand is more active. My left is not, because I'm not trained so much. So which means if we use it more and more, our bodies is part of, is becoming a very smart, it's becoming very smart, and also is connected with even though you don't connect it with your brain, your body part becomes their own, they have their own brains. And that is why, this is how the these body are connected with nature, and we should not discriminate our movement vocabulary day-to-day life. And we also need to observe ourselves, that how our body are moving, how I am sitting, how these kids are, very isolated, why these kids are not, always looking down, why these kids are always like pinching herself with the nails, So these are all their characters, their ideas. So you can see through the body. And that is why, we need to observe so much. We need to practice ourselves to understand others' bodies. And so this is why I'm telling this everything, this some of the topic, because I'm sure you all are teacher and you are involving with many students, and uh, and I'm also like still trying to observe from many people, from student also, that how I can understand other bodies and also mentally. And when I try to when I work with my student or my performers, it's really hard to understand them by through the body, even though we don't talk, but we could understand them through the body movement. And it also help to build up our communities, to understand our characters. So there is a lot of variety of exercise, to do with the body movement. They are also called uh, dance movement therapies. It's all it comes from the USA, and it's in 18th century. So dance movement is one of the course. Nowadays it can become a doctorate in this dance movement therapies, and it is more about, and sometimes it's called a dance movement and psychological treatment. So it's not only, as I mentioned before, dance doesn't means only the body. It's involved the mentals and ideas also. So that is how this dance movement therapy is very, very, is it just somehow one of the pioneer from India is Tripura Kashyap. She is based in Delhi. So they started. She started dance movement therapies, courses in India. So they are doing very well, and they are also a Kolkata Samved. They also doing so many good things, about especially for the torture victims, for the females. So there is a lot of. So they are working with these females who've been evidenced by their parents, tortured by their parents, and also from the red light areas. So, this is why, how dance and movement are very important in our society. Yeah, coming to the very to our local. Let's talk about our local topic. Uh, 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 when we teach the student, so it's not that we should not always think only for one ideas, because everyone are different, and that is why even in some of the school, mostly I also, when I travel, I visit some of the schools like a kindergarten school, and how they teach is very, very different, very unique also, because they don't teach so much about textbook. I mean, there is a textbook like a alphabet and all, but also very playful, very colorful, in that sense. But so they take very easy and very comfortable for the kids. They don't do like a competitive exam. They don't do any like uh, heavy reading or stuff. They always try to keep it very simple and very friendly teaching with, even the teacher are very friendly with the kid as like a parents. So they do like a very open, kind of open physical movements exercise, like, climbing ropes, climbing trees, because they build, some of the very small, very short, like with the bamboos and all, and they climb, because that is what I think the child should do. And for us, we also, I will say, we are so lucky that we are still in developing country, because in developed country, they already, so much of of they already disconnected from the forest. There is no such trees and forests and landscape, and they are already like a huge building, and they are already very much disconnected from the nature, but they are trying to do, because they already know what is the bad things of disconnecting from the nature. What is the bad for the very hygienic. That is why they already starting, their kid to play on mud, because to build up the immune system, stronger. Now here we are trying. They already know that they are in the bad part, but here we are trying to do it the same thing, repeat it their bad thing, because okay, they eat Uncle Chip. Oh, nice. They eat pizza. They eat KFC. But all of these are not good at all, because I'm sorry to say, but McDonald's, KFC are for the people who don't have money in USA. They are the fast food they can buy cheap, for the people who don't have so much money, and that is why, most of the in USA, I went in San Francisco, and most of the IT person I saw, their body are totally different from the Hollywood I see on the Bollywood. Most of the people are so, I'm sorry to say, but so overloaded of their body size, because they become like a boilers, even, they're that is not a real body of a human beings. Our body are still so strong. Our colors, we are still human. But when I saw them, I feel like they are not human, or they are not human, because they are somewhere. So that is why I will say we are still lucky that we are not so much developed. And I think we should consider what is development. What is development? We should also understand what is the meaning of development. Development doesn't mean that the car, the materials, we should not come to the materials. So most of the most expensive place in the USA or in the developed countries are the place which have a trees in the playground, which have a near forest, which have which they have a pond, little pond. They are very expensive, they. And now for us, we are still exist in Manipur. We have trees all over around. We have rivers all around, So this is what we need to understand, And so why I'm saying this is, when we teach the students, we also should not forget to embodiment our body with the nature. We should take them out with the nature. We don't need to build up the wooden hills and all. We already exist. We have it all here in our communities, and that is why I will love to increase that, encourage to take out our students, to our hills, move, go around to the forest. Is we call as a forest bath, like a bath. When you go to the forest, we hear the nature, we hear the sounds of the creature. We can feel the vibrations, the frequencies of the trees, because it's all energy. We cannot see through eyes, but we can actually feel the vibrations. It's the same thing like how the Wi-Fi is working. It's an example. We can. It's like the tower is one tower is like a tree, but you cannot see through eyes, but my mobile and is connected all this thing by the frequency and by vibrations. This is how we our body have a very, we lost these senses. So we need to keep think about the body movements, how to reconnect it with the nature. And also, not only why I'm always saying nature, because is our life is with the nature. We born with the nature. Without nature we will not survive. So that is why most of the creative artists, most of the famous people, they always when they are very they always go for a retreat in the forest. They go, they have holiday. That is why most of the who have money, they always go to the very silent place, very so that they can gain the energy from the nature again. So you can, there is a lot of thing we can talk about, because as I said, uh, there is so much benefit. We can't we cannot say this is it, so there's so much we can, as I said, we can mentally also creativities and social, about the social and the physicals, so they are all involved and the healing process. So these are the topic, main topic we have to consider, so they are all involved in the movements. When I say movement, it's all involved in one thing, that is our movements, that is why also I mentioned before, if we don't move, we are dead. We are dead. That is kind of, yeah, if you have any questions or anything you want to clarify, or if you have any kind of example you want to hear, then I would love to hear from you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Surjit, for the incredible insights that you have brought in from your travel stories, travel journeys, etc. Just wanted to add a point where when you say that we are all connected to the nature in some way or the other, and that's how we define our own existence. And that you have beautifully highlighted how we can connect our classroom experience to the nature, and also how we individually can connect our lives to where we started from the wombs of our mothers, and when we already have developed a sense of movement to become alive, right? So it's really beautiful how you have highlighted of connecting to the nature. And also, as you said, that a lot of creative people go back for retreats in the forest, and that's how they regain energy to work on things. So recently I have as a part of my research, I have seen papers where people have done studies on how physical movements affect creativity or creative thinking. And there was this research that was done in, I think, in the UK, and they have actually set up this movement-based educational program for their kindergarten students. And much like how you brought in your story from Tripura, I guess, right, if I'm not wrong, where students are given enough independence to play with mud, etc., with natural elements, climb trees, etc. Like that, in this part of the research, they have set up the movement based educational program. And in that, kindergarten kids were taught to write letters by moving their arms up in the air. And another thing what they did was, that was another thing. And what the other experiment they did with the kindergarten students, where they were just scribbling out the letters, alphabets, on the ground, and they were asked to move on the lines of the scribbles. So that research, according to the paper I have read, have suggested that the movement, when the education is actually involved with movement, with bodily movement, it showed in the results of the research, of this particular research, that the recognition capacity in the kids, in the kindergarten students, the recognition capacity for the alphabets actually was higher than usually pinpointing with flashcards, this is A and this is B, instead of making them write down like that. So it's very important, I guess, and thank you so much for bringing this topic up. It does not come usually. And as a dancer, also we believe that with any dance movements we do, we always keep attention to the music and also to the emotion that we relate with, as well as the movement that our body does. And also a lot of studies again have suggested the dance as a practice, as an art practice, artistic practice, also improves divergent thinking in a lot of individuals, where divergent thinking in the sense that we at this time we're listening to music and we're trying to create a body movement along with an expression, so matching things in matching values, and also the ideas in our within ourselves actually help us create more kind of fluency in meanings. We can create more meanings and we can explore more problems, so that incorporates the divergent thinking in an individual. Thank you very much. And I request if any participant have any question or comments or any suggestion ideas, please do feel free to share directly, or either you can put it down in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to input with what Dina said. Yes, as I said, dance movements is so much. You will not end reading about benefit of dance and movement. Do you know that most of the the best physical body in the world are dancer, not the sport. You can check it out. You can check it out because that is because we are not competed, because the sport for them, they have injured so many, they do exercise. But for the dancer, why the dancer are more physical, more one of the most top is because it involves the mentality, so don't forget that. So that is why the best physicals athletic is a dancer.
Yeah.
And yeah, about and also the exercise, I just want to share a little bit. You have mentioned about the alphabet. We kind also do this, as I said. We do this like when in the introduction, they do with the movements, and that is how. And why we do this, because the Psy people, they don't usually move so much. I mean, it's hard. That is why, in the psychological term, if the kid of the person is very depressed, she or he will be sitting in the corner, and they will not move so much, and they will always look down. This we have to understand it, and that is why in dance movement therapy we do some kind of exercise like you're playing balloon. And that is why also we don't mention dance, because when they say dance thing, you see in the films, you saw in the, it's, dance should be very nice and all. Forget about that. We move every day. You are washing dishes, you are washing clothes, and you are hanging clothes. It's a movement involving. When you are writing something, it's your hands are moving. If it's becoming bigger, it's become a movement. So that is why we kind of why we, even now, why I'm saying movement matter is about the psychological. Because when I say dance is only specific become a dancer. But when it's a movement, we move, everyone move, so that is why. And example like a balloon, I was trying to say about the balloon, so if the kid, you can also try with kids, if the kids, even for the old generation, even if you have difficulties, it's very helpful. I will just give you one example. If you collect a balloon, just a simple balloon, and you blow up, and you start playing with this balloon, tuck and tuck, and you need to kind of conduct like, okay, now you try to play with your head, only with your head, like, bouncing the head. And now you can use your hands, now you can use your elbow. It's also involving the physical body part to understand what is nose, what is head, what is elbow, what is fingers, and what is right and left. This also involving with the playful. At the same time, it's also the focus. It's also focus that how the balloon is because you can, in the doctor, there are also kind of disease that the calculations, some kids, some people, still the elder people could not guess the, when somebody throw, they cannot calculate the speed and all. So this is also, we can learn it about them, that this kid have some weakness of the focusing, this kid have a weakness of our left, so we can find out this thing, so, and also within three balloon, and the important thing is without understanding them, they are dancing, they are moving, so if when they will focusing on the balloon, and they will not think about what to dance, they will not think, they are just playing with this bamboo. It comes so organically, it's involving the movement, and there is, and also the community, the community, you maybe, the space, the balloon will carry the time. It's called the traveling, because at one point, if you want to say, when we dancing in a room, some guys doesn't want to move, and they will just stand there and very isolated. But when you play the balloon, balloon will take freedom, it will take somewhere, and automatically he will travel, the guy will start traveling the space, so it's taking around with the balloons, with the help of the balloon. It means the guys is starting to be a socialized in the community, so it's not only isolated in one place, and it becomes from one to become the community, and it becomes the joyful, and so that is why just in this balloon, we can find out so many things for one person about their character, not only about the character, the mentally, the physically, and for this, how, what you call the brave they are, or so this all emotion can understand. So there's so many things that we have, and that is why in dance movement therapy also we do so many little exercise. How to bring out this thing, the developing their mentally and physically by the simple tasks like so people will think the balloon is just, oh, they play with the kid, it's very simple. But behind that, we can find out so many things, we can do PhD on balloon playing with this. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very beautiful example. And hopefully, a few of our teachers will take it into their classrooms as well.
Yeah, I will definitely encourage to all of you to just think about a game, about a game, and try to utilize it. Like, why I'm doing this, how is help? It is focusing, or it is mentally, it is about the alphabet, because you also said it's about the alphabet. I also I also have a nephew here, so I do sometimes like an exercise, like a different exercise, and also it helped to me also. Like I said, it called a memories to memories. What I do is like, okay, in the room, I will say there's so many exercises, but I will give you one example. I will just say the room, one room, and I will say, okay, now go. Now whatever you want to go, go. And I say stop. And so when I say stop, they will freeze. And they have to understand where they are standing and how they are standing, and observe the space, like what is in your right, left, or back, or whatever, So you observe that. And now let's go to number two. Now what? And then we will say stop, and they will stop, and they will also remember that. So we do like a four count according to the how many student or how many is, so we will say four times. Then what I will do is, okay, now let's go to number three, and they will, from three to two, they will travel, and they will try to stand as same as before. So it's kind of the memories, building up the memories, the focus and the space, observing. That is why I always said observing the nature. If you always observing the nature, you will automatically observe your rooms, even in your rooms, day-to-day life. And that is kind of, that is why why I mentioned before, everything about the nature is big, is a practice. When you understand all these nature things, feel the vibration or whatever, you can even feel the vibration phones on the, on your bed, So that is how you can feel it. That is why we need to practice. That is why we need to always move and how to, that is an example that how the child, playful is very important. It's really helps. It's like, even it's a 1 2 3, they can remember what is 1 2 3. You can even say A B C. Okay, now go to C, now go to B, or you can say the character, you can write a character. Okay, now write C. There is so many different. I will suggest, don't think about who you are. We are all capability of, we have our own brain. We can create our own ideas, and that is very important, to create our own idea, to think about. Don't think about who you are. We all are same. You just create some small idea, but try to think about what it is. The simple is the best, but the simple is not easy. So that also we have done. The balloon is very, very simple, but there's so many things we can learn. So that is why if you can clarify all these things, it will be very helpful to the kid also. So I will encourage, don't think about what is getting in Europe or Japan or whatever. We already have so much in this our society, and just try to focus on that. And so many create just so many games, so that kid will enjoy. At the same time, they will build up their physical memories, so many creativity ways, and they will come all every day into the class, because it's because it will not bore for the students.
Okay, hello, sir. I want to just raise a question.
Yeah.
Sir, also, it's already mentioned that mostly in the Imphal area, town area, kids are addicted to mobile phone, and there is less of movement. Sorry. And then this is the major problem in this generation. Moreover, when a small kid cry, the like mom and dad, they used to give the phone and make the children to stop crying. That is the main problem. And my question is, apart from physiotherapy, what awareness we can send to them so that they will be aware that movement is very important? That's the question, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so there is if the iPad is more easy nowadays when baby are crying. Even in my home, when my nephew cry, they will give, they have so many games, and they will say, oh, don't go out, it's so, it's not, weather is so good, not good, it's so hot, don't go out, take this mobile and watch cartoon, enjoy staying here. So this is not really good, and that is why I always invite. I mean, I'm sure there is some possibility, there is some positive that the games also help. There is some games are very helpful for the kids, for their brains memories, but there are also some games, which are not helping at all for the kids. We also, as a parents, as a senior, we also need to understand what game they are playing. So we also need to identify. But we also need to give some time as a physical movement. That is why I invite all my nephew every day, doing yoga or just doing some physical exercise. So it's combined, so with the games, and also because the society, we cannot say we have to go back in the forest, and we can't do it anymore, because it's the evolutions of the human, so we also need to go time by time. But right now we are on the phone. How we can say don't use phone, and how, this is what we also need to understand. The important is, if we use phone or iPad or game, we need to understand what is important for this. We need to understand. But at the same time, I will say that we also should not forget about our own bodies and brains, to do some physical exercise, to go out to the forest. So that is why I already mentioned before, you don't need to dance or you don't need to move, exercise. If you have time, free time, please do. If not, I would say you go in the farm, you cultivate the tree, vegetables, farming. It's very, very helpful, actually. It's the most important movement, I would say, because I would say, as a dancer and all, we are kind of like entertainment. I mean, it's also important, but what I'm saying here is, uh, okay, Surjit said, dance and movement is very important. I should do 1 hour, 2 hours just dancing. I will not. If you have free time, please do. If not, I will more encourage, like going to the forest, or uh, cutting wood for the family, or cleaning room for the family, and cooking, for helping for parents. Is all involved physical movement, and that is why day-to-day life movement is more important. That is why we need to keep moving, and this is why also, not only mobiles nowadays, like motors, like when I was a kid, I used to fetch water from river. Nowadays, because of the motor, I don't do so much physical movement, because it's motor. Okay, now all this nala, and you can bath on the toilet, you don't need to go on the river. It's so disconnected now. So I will, for your questions, coming back to the questions, I will say it's okay to play some games, to make them smart, but also need to understand the time limitation. At the same time, it's also, we should also not to forget them to do some physical exercise. So that is what I will say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hi, Surjit sir.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I think the participants will learn a lot of things about this movement, body movement. As you mentioned, body movement is important. I do agree. But here, especially in rural area, children went to school on foot. And there is no school bus or school van. So every day they have a body movement. So what I want to ask you is that, since you are a choreographer, is it good to introduce as a school curriculum? Will it be good to introduce choreography as a school curriculum activities?
Okay, so that is your question, right? It's okay. I will say choreography is in another term. Choreography is more about it's kind of a film director. Is choreography means. So, but I will say is body and movement class. So instead of choreography is kind of more mature about So I will definitely say dance and movement class is very important, like the PT exercise. the PT, So, but dances movements should be included in the school curriculum because as I mentioned before, it's very important for a human, because in others, developed state and country, there is a school, there is a music teacher, school teacher, what do you call, the physiotherapy is there, there is music teachers there, school dance teachers and gymnastic teacher, so much, because if we have 100 children, 100 kids in the school, we cannot make it we cannot say learn only this, learn only flute, learn only mathematics, because it's the same thing in the school. We teach mathematics, physics, because so that most of the all of these 100 students have a different mentalities and they have their own talented. So so I will say is the dance movement or the physical movement class should involve is because it's help to the children to grow up their creativity. As I mentioned also before, it's also about learning about their mental health and also physicals. So once you identify the weakness of your kids, of your students, then we can think about another process of how to make it easy, how to make it, how to teach to make her or him to understand easily. So we cannot, because we need to find, because this is the job of our any school that if there is 100 student, we must think all the 100 students, not only the topper, because if there is only doctor and engineer in this world, we will not survive. So we need to think about this also as a teacher. We should not forget about. We should not forget about every ideas matters, like a body, like movement matters. Every ideas matters because this 100 students, if they can lead in any, like say music or dance or environments or the farmer, or the doctor, then so I will say the school is the one of the top school, I will say, because it's not about how many doctor you met it from your school. It's more about how many human being you had met, in for this better world. So I think this is very important to include dance movement therapy. I will say it's not only for the art. I'm not saying to become them as an artist. I think you already know them. You already know it. What I'm saying here is dance and movement or any art therapy. Any art therapy. I will say art therapy because there is so many art therapy like a painting, music, listening. There's so many. So art therapies is very important, to understand someone. And that is why all the schools should have some art teachers, so that they can think about their children. It's the same thing like a counseling, like a counselor, because psychologically counselor, we need this also because if the kids, why I'm saying this is because, in this 100 kids, their family are different backgrounds. Maybe the parents had fought last night and these kids are very traumatized, or this kid has beaten up by their sister or their elder brother, or there's so many history. There could be so many stories behind them, and that is why they could not focus on study. So this could be one of the reason also, he or she could not focus on study because his mind is already involved, is already into the dreams world, let the traumas of their past, But because of this art therapies, it can study their mentally, and physically. That is why I said we should always focus on some fun kind of fun creativity work, so we can also understand them and also better for them. I think, yeah. So I will definitely will say art teacher is very important.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if you want any more, yeah, please let me know. I mean, yeah. If you also want to ask about what kind of, if you want to know about, okay, there is a one student that if is very shy, or one student he is very, he cried too much, so you can also ask what kind of exercise you can do, or you can also ask in that sense, because if I want to say everything, because there's so many, so I cannot spin out, So if you have particular question, then I can give you a particular exercise for that.
Hi, Sudhir. This is Pradeep here.
Hi, Pratap.
Yeah, so I guess I don't have any specific questions at this moment, and this is something that's very new and it's very refreshing to hear something like this. It would be great if you could share with us like some resources, some activities that we could use, because this is something very new we've learned about today for all of us. Uh, if we had if we get some kind of reading material, some few things that we can practice in our classrooms, maybe that will be really nice, because maybe once we start doing one, two things, we see how it impacts the students and the children. So I guess that will be really beneficial. Uh, but I think this is something that is very important, and uh, the same thing, I would repeat the same thing. A little bit of resource for us to go through would really help us.
Sure. I will send two links of the organization in India. They are very into this kind of exercise, and I am also involved with them somehow. And I already mentioned their group, like a Kolkata Sanvet, and one is Kolkata Sanvet, and one is a Simtai. Simtai is creative movement art therapies. So it's founded by the Tripura Kashyap, who is one of the pioneer of the dance and movement therapies in India. So definitely I will share to Dina. They have a good website, and they have, and also there are also courses. They have a diploma courses on this dance movement therapies, with connected with this America Dance Therapy Association, and yeah, I supposed to be one of the. I was in the Sentai group once a time, and I also worked as a movement therapist in Imphal for about 4 to 5 years. But I left because it's not easy in the sense, because it's not uh, it's not about 1 week or 2 week involvement in dance movement therapy. If you want to, it's like a counselor. If you have a one client, It may take 1 year or 3 years, 5 years, depend on the client. So, but as a lovers of performing artists, I decided, to continue my practice as a performance. But I would love to share my idea whenever I have a time like this, But yeah, so I will give to Dina the link of there, and if you also want to check out their course and all, they have all the link. And Kolkata Samvet is more about as I said, it's more about the girls, and I was also there for the 3 months, I will say. And I work with many kind of mental health in the jail, Kolkata Central Jail, and IXIB kids, and then it's so painful actually. Yeah, I could not, it's so overwhelmed. That is why also I left somehow, and that is how I think I also created one of the work. It's called One Voice. Made in 2011. It's also about the torture and the victim relationship. So I will share to you guys that there also one performance. I think One Voice is going to present in this online festival in this organized by the Sentai, by the Tripura Fellowship. So they're also going to have an international conference about this dance movement therapies. So I will share to you guys. If you interest, you can go more and more details, and they have so many materials. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Surjit, again. Thank you so much also for extending the time for all of us. And we are almost, I think, 25 minutes beyond the expected timeline. And hopefully everyone is, I think, settled without any question. And just a moment. Okay, I'm just checking the chat box, so I see no questions in the chat box as well. So we can call it an end for today. Thank you so much again for bringing in such insights. I hope each of us have learned something out of this, even if it's young and fresh. And we will definitely look forward to the resources that you will share with me, and I will pass it on with everyone here. And yeah, thank you. Hope to see you soon. We welcome you anytime in Singngat. So whenever you're free and convenient, please come down. We would love to show you our students how they are. Like Sir Titi, who is the founder of our school, Lyzon Friendship School, he has mentioned that a lot of kids in our area, since it's a remote place, are used to body movements of, like when they come to school, etc. However, that exhaustion from the walking is just a bit of the day. In the school, all throughout in the classroom, even outside the classroom, they're always energetic and active, and they always like to play around, etc. So it's a very bright set of students we have in Singngat as well. So we welcome you anytime you're convenient and free.
Yeah, definitely. I love to come, as as I've been saying to you from the first day I connected with you. So I'm very good in this physically, but not in the virtually. Yes.
Right. So we would love to invite you at some point of time to the school to conduct maybe a physical workshop with our teachers and also students, because a lot of students here are also, I just don't want to reduce their talents and inspirations only to the aspect of dance, but there are a lot of dancers and really inspiring students who love to dance anytime, any day. So that would be a great help if you could come down and take a physical workshop for our community here. Yes, we would love to have you, and we'll definitely arrange that as well from our end.
Great. I will love to. Looking forward for that. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining me and listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Enjoy your stay.
Yes, keep moving, guys.
Right, that's the word.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Surjit sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.